Alright, just want to talk about the new Broadtech Eagle Racing R31 16 FM, rear wheel drive, whatever it's called. Name's too long. Got the Tamiya FRS shell on it, but let's go talk about what you can do about your R31 in order to make it run a little bit better out of the box. Alright, got the shell off here. So, I'm just going to talk a little bit about my setup. Battery, nothing special. It's one of the Hobby King Turnkey 5000 milliamp. It's a 20C one. I like them because they're cheap. That's about it. What I'd really like to do in the future is run it going long ways and move my electronics around, because I think they would offer a little bit better weight balance for it, because not a lot of people are doing rear weight now, but let's skip past that. Servo, I have this, what is it, Servo, what's the number on this? I'm just going to read it, SC1257TG, see, 0.07 speed, 10 whatever's of torque. Okay, it works pretty good. Issue I had with it is very much of a power whore, so we also had to go ahead and put in the, we got the Castle Creations 10 amp BEC. Got that running on it, so now it doesn't brown out all the time. For the transmitter, we have a Sanwa Airtronics MT4. We have the FH4T, what is it? Yeah, 461 FH4T, whatever it's called. Comes in the box with it. Works great. Haven't had any issues with it. So that's our receiver. ESC. This is a Dynamite Fuse one. It works fine. Like I said, this servo made it brown out. I'm not sure if it's the receiver or the ESC or what's doing it, but battery eliminating circuit finished it. I think the Servo did it because I tried another servo. Moving on past that. So the modifications that we really did here is, first and foremost, the dampers that come with it were absolute garbage, and I wish I had a before and after for this. But even when you filled them up with fluid and you tried to use them, they didn't really rebound at all. So now it actually rebounds. I don't really have a lot. The springs in the back are really soft. The ride height's pretty low, about 4 millimeters back there, and about 5 in the front. So it rides really low, so there's not a lot of movement to play with it. But as you can see, it actually does something now. These rear ones could probably be a little bit, have a little bit more tension in them. Probably tighten them up a little bit, but it seems to be working fine for me right now. But what I did with them is I went ahead and I got a whole bunch of Tamiya TRF internal. So I kept the lids to the boxes over here. Let's see what we have here. So I went ahead and I got the TRF damper pistons, 2-hole. I have the damper piston rod. I have the urethane bushings that go on top of the little cover for them, and I also have the guides and the O-rings, so sets of 4 there. That's going to be your easiest solution, provided you don't want to go ahead and buy complete new dampers, but I kind of like that they match. Otherwise, I wouldn't want the TRF Works ones, just because why not? Some other little changes up here is we did put on one of the, what is it, the Eagle Racing, the 30 by 30 millimeter fans for this, and these I actually have wired directly to my ESC on the backside. Let's go ahead and flip this around real quick. Knocking over tires and stuff. Oh my god. So I actually have it soldered directly to the bottom side of my ESC along with my battery eliminating circuit, just so I don't take up too many plugs for it. I also have the same fan on my ESC, so extra cooling, super. And I actually like to put one, I have another one that I'm planning on putting on the servo, just because that seems to get pretty warm when you factor in the gyro on it. What else is there to this guy? The wheels and tires, I'm messing up with my setup right now, because I'm just starting to get this dialed in, so I'm going to come back to that in a second. But the main issue that I really found besides those, I know some people have issues with the belts having too much or too little tension. Mine are fine. They came out of the box fine, but I do have someone who also has one of these, and they're having an issue with their front belt being super tight. So if you have an issue with that, obviously you need to play around with it. A huge difference that I've made is the steering on it. Normally, I swapped everything over here. Notice that there's not really a lot of play in it. With the default ball studs and with the arms for it, there seems to be a lot of play in the steering, and I really didn't like that, and it made it very inconsistent. So what I went ahead and did is I went ahead and I replaced the rod ends and the ball studs. And so these over here, these are the longer ones I have for the steering, and I put a little spacer here. And then for the rest of the steering, I went ahead and I put we have Team Associated, the 6276 ball studs, and we have the, what is this, RPM heavy duty rod ends. And they have made a tremendous difference in the steering. There's no slop anymore, really. I mean, there's very little, but compared to what there was before, it's a huge difference. The tires I've been fooling around with, I really haven't found what I like yet. I'm running on carpet, so if you're not, just ignore this. But right now I have MST green dots in the back. I have Eagle Racing constant grip in the front. And the steering angle on it's pretty darn good. As you can see, it's just coming pretty darn close to the damper. But I haven't had too much of an issue with it. I don't know why I was holding it sideways. It probably looks goofy now, but overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm just still trying to find the right balance of tires and weight for carpet. Because the issue is, I'm sure everyone's had this issue regardless of surface. Either you have too much traction in the rear and you get that initial understeer and you can't make a lot of turns, or you have not enough grip in the rear and it will just spin out, or, you know, it's just a number of things. I'm just trying to find that sweet spot right now. Now, some of the other things I've tried and I haven't been as successful with, so I actually have the 20mm Hyco rims, or not Hyco rims, Speedline 20mm with the Hyco constant grip tires. And as you can see, the difference, it's pretty significant actually, the actual difference in width. But the issue with these that I've had is that they don't really grip enough. Yes, you get extra lock on it, but you don't get the grip that I feel is required for like long sweeping turns. For like a tighter, shorter, more technical course, I think they'd be better, and I actually prefer those courses, but that's not what we run where I am for the most part, so not the best options. Some other things I've used for rear wheels are, let me see, what are these? These are the Eagle Hards. Now these are really, I don't even know how to put it. It's not that they're not grippy, because they actually are pretty grippy, they're just slow. I don't know if that makes sense. So some alternatives I have is actually also have the Eagle Mediums, which seem to be even softer and even slower, and those are fun if you just want to hold a ridiculous angle at low speed. But a lot of people are still running CS around where I am, so I'm trying to keep up. And lastly, we have these on the default rims without the covers for it. But we also have some MST red dots. And the MST red dots really fast, actually surprisingly grippy, but the only thing they give me is that initial understeer, and that initial understeer makes it really difficult a lot of the times, especially when it comes to transitions into sharp sweeping turns. So that's pretty much what's going on so far. Those are my adjustments. I mean, I have a couple of things I've been playing around with. The biggest issue I'm really having now is just tires and weight. I don't know where I want the tires, or what tires I want to use and where I want the weight. So right now I have some wrap-up weights over here on both sides that I'm testing out. And I also took off the rear diffuser because I can't fit my body on with it, as well as the front bumper. So we have a couple weights back here. And I think I need to add a little bit more ride height to it before I go ahead and add any more weight. Just because, I mean, there's definitely some room here. It's just the way that the chassis bends down at the end, it kind of takes away some of the rebound that it could have. So I got to play around with that too. If anyone has any ideas for their setup, that'd be awesome. But I definitely think that the improvements that I've made are pretty simple, really. So again, the Tamiya upgrade for your dampers will be awesome. The RPM rod ends and the Team Associated ball studs. And I forgot to mention that I put 80 weight oil in the front and 15 in the rear. And I actually don't know what brand shocks these are. Someone gave them to me. The front ones are pretty darn hard, and the rear ones are pretty darn soft. So I think any brand would really work here. Honestly, I'd rather have some, I think these are both 30 or 28 millimeter springs. So the 32s I think would be just a little bit better, especially on the rear. Just the rear, I definitely think I need to either put a little more preload on that. So that still needs to be played with a little bit. And then, you know, some cooling fans, constant grips front, green dots in the rear. And I'll probably end up swapping over both wheels to the Speedline tires soon, just because I like them a little bit more than what I'm rocking up front. I don't know, I'm still playing with it. But if you guys have any ideas what you're doing with your R31, I'd love to hear it. And I've always been checking out a bunch of websites. And also, if you're in the Tampa area, check out Street Brake Circuit. You can see them on Facebook at, I think it's facebook.com/Street Brake Circuit. We got some awesome guys over there, and that's where I run into walls at high speed sideways. So Let me know what you think about the video, and maybe I could post some more stuff. Peace out.